Now, let me see. Word broke yesterday via Fight Hype that Broner versus Mikey Garcia was in the works. Yes, Mikey Garcia, 36-0 with 30 KOs, the brother of trainer Robert Garcia, and he is the WBC 135-pound champion. Now, you have to think, well, wait a minute, he's fighting Adrian Broner. What weight is this fight going to be at, right? Well, I look at it like this. This is one of those situations where I feel that, you know, that it may be at like a catchweight of like 142 or 144 or something like that, because, you know, historically, Adrian Broner has had issues making that 140 pounds. You know, he even said himself that he wasn't going back to 140 for no one. So, you know, if you're the promoter, manager, advisor, Al Heyman, you know, you're going to try to book a fight for him close to 140, but not at 140 to, you know, to help Mikey Garcia a bit. Now, you have to think that if the fight is at 140, there's going to be some people that are going to say Broner's drained. Whatever the case may be, before I go any further, let me say this. You see a situation where a lot of Heyman fighters, well, all the Heyman fighters are now in a situation where they have to fight each other, or the fights that they fight have to be meaningful fights because the lack of networks. You know, that's a whole different video. But a fight like Adrian Broner versus Mikey Garcia, you never thought in your wildest dreams you would see, especially when you look at Adrian Broner almost lost to Adrian Granados. So let's talk about this, right? Adrian Broner is 33-2 with 24 KOs. He should be fighting at 140 pounds because he hasn't really done anything and had issues with mostly pressure fighters or fighters that throw a lot of punches. We know that Adrian Broner's Achilles heel is fighters who can throw a lot of punches, right? So you would think that he should be at 140 pounds, but 140 is where mentally he's at because of whether it's his team, you know, that he's, you know, not listening to, whether it's because he's not taking training serious, or more so he's not taking care of his body between fights. Adrian Broner is kind of like a Chavez Jr.-ish as far as you have to keep him busy. You don't want Adrian Broner having long layouts because he's going to do dumb shit. So, for example, right now at this point in time, he's in jail, you know, for, what? He's got like one more day. He had to serve 72 hours, which ain't shit. You know, for some shit he did. I believe, see, he's got so much shit going on. I believe this was when, was this because he had showed up to court drunk or something and showed up late? I don't know what this trouble is when it comes to this situation. But the point is, he's at a time in his career where there's nothing left but big fights for him. You know, he can't have bullshit or tune-up fights anymore. A lot of people don't know, but from my understanding, that Adrian Granados fight was supposed to be at 140 pounds. Then they moved to 142, and then they made it a full 147-pound fight. Adrian Granados was ranked very high by the WBC. Adrian Broner at that point in time was ranked at 140 by the WBC. The two of them, Adrian Granados and Broner, whoever won that fight, would have likely fought Terence Crawford. There was talks between Arum and Heyman about that fight. Arum had confirmed that, what, about a year or so ago. But Adrian Broner can't make that 140 pounds. You see what I'm saying? So now he's stuck at 147, where there's nothing literally but fighters that he's going to have issues beating. For example, can he beat a pressure fighter, by the way, in Lamar Peterson, even though him and Lamar Peterson cool? Can he beat a Danny Garcia? You know, can he beat a Sean Porter? You see what I'm saying? You know, and let's not talk about Keith Thurman. You know, maybe, put it this way, like you know, it all depends on the style of fighter that you match Adrian Broner up against. So if there's a fighter, you know, that's not very active, not very mobile, and doesn't throw a lot of punches, Adrian Broner is a very good boxer. Now, there's a difference between being a boxer and an overall good fighter. I think Adrian Broner is a very good boxer. So now I'm going to go ahead and say, looking at Adrian Broner's previous fights, right now, don't be biased when it comes to this situation. Understand what I'm saying. You know, I understand that on paper, you know, first thing you think in your head when you hear Mikey Garcia, Adrian Broner, oh, Mikey Garcia is going to destroy him. That may not be the case. You know, also, when has Mikey Garcia ever fought somebody as big as Adrian Broner or with the power as an Adrian Broner? For example, the highest weight, as you know, Mikey Garcia has ever been at was that fight when he came back, right? That fight when he came back. Remember, he fought in January, right, of 2014 against Juan Carlos Burgos. I forgot how to pronounce his name. I've seen him fight live, too. Forgot again, too. That was in January of 2014. Then his next fight was over 2 years later when he fought at 138 pounds against that Rojas guy when he knocked him the hell out. Remember that? And then he fought the Jan Zakotakanen at 135. You know, so basically he had one fight in 2014, right? Returns well over 2 years later. Fights, you know, one fight in 2016. So far, one fight in 2017, which was in January when he won that title. And now, you know, he's going to fight Broner in July on Showtime. So when you look at it, I really think that Mikey Garcia is now a natural 140-pound fighter that was squeezing himself down to 135, because when you go on those long type of layoffs, you know, your body is not, your body gets adjusted to, you know, your walk around weight for that long period of time. So to be able to drop that historically, now this is not something that's new. Historically, when fighters go on those long layoffs and they try to come back and go back to a lower weight, you see what I'm saying? You know, their body doesn't adjust right. So I really feel at this point in time, fighting at 140 pounds is something that Mikey Garcia actually wants to do. And remember, the WBC has allowed him, who he is the WBC champion, but Jorge Linares is the WBC Diamond champion. So basically, it's a situation where at 135, those two WBC belts do matter. I don't know which one to put over, you know, the other one. So I look at like the Jorge Linares fight, because remember, he's unified at 135, WBC and WBA. And then you have, you know, Mikey Garcia, who has what is, you know, the regular WBC title. But either way, you know, both of those titles are basically on the same level when it comes to the political situation. But I don't want to, you know, go ahead and confuse you. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, both of those fighters were allowed a voluntary. But in this case, this voluntary, you know, is going to be at another weight class for Adrian Broner. You know, so a lot of people are saying, well, you know, this is finally Heyman cashing out Adrian Broner, because at this point in time, you know, look at what would have happened to Adrian Broner if he would have lost to Adrian Granados on paper. And that was a very close, controversial fight. I had Adrian Broner winning. But still, what if he would have lost that fight? You know, significant pay, you know, cut. So if you look at controversy surrounding his last two fights, for example, with the Adrian Granados fight, split decision. You know, the Ashley Theophane fight, he lost his belt on the scales. You know, the Khabib Alak fight was when you thought, okay, Adrian Broner is really back. He on his game. The fight before that, the Sean Porter fight, he didn't take the fight seriously. You know, you heard about him showing up to the media workout, what, 2 hours plus late, smelling like weed and liquor. You see what I'm saying? The John Molina fight, the premiere of Premier Boxing Champions on television, he missed his weight. You know, Emmanuel Taylor, okay, everything's going good for Adrian Broner. You know, so you have to think he's had a really tumultuous career, but he's still very marketable. But you be thinking like, yo, when is he going to get his shit together outside the ring? You know, and it's still fucked up when you look at it. It's like, yo, you know, like somebody tried to kill him. You know, that's some crazy ass shit. You know, he had his car shot up. That's some crazy ass shit. You know, like when you look at it. So, you know, obviously he's going through some things, but he is a good fighter, and if he was to beat Mikey Garcia, you know what that would do for his career, no matter what weight it's at. You know, because I'm sure people are going to probably say, well, Mikey Garcia had no business going up in weight. Nah, because already people saying Mikey Garcia is going to slaughter him. I don't think so. You know, Mikey Garcia, however, overall is the better overall fighter. But when you're boxing Adrian Broner, right, when you're going, you know, jab for jab, hook for hook, and he's got a mean uppercut, you know, Mikey Garcia never seen that type of power. You see what I'm saying? And if you look at it, has Mikey Garcia ever really seen that type of talent? Even if you look at lower weight divisions, when you look at Orlando Salido or Juan Man, at that point, he was pretty much, you know, like done. I guess he only had 2 losses at that point in time, but still, you look at Roman Rocky Martinez. So when you look at it, and then if you look at the fact that Mikey Garcia has been down in his career before, so there's so many questions about this fight. But as I said earlier in the video, and it deserves a video of its own, these Heyman fighters are now in a situation where it's like, listen, you take the fights we offer to you, you know, or we gotta just say, hey, listen, put them on the shelf, go to somebody else, because right now with the lack of networks, you know, they got to fight on Showtime, and it's not like Showtime just has an endless amount of dates of fights. A lot of people don't understand that. You know, Showtime will go to Heyman and say, you know, okay, well, listen, we got 16 dates for you for between March and September, some shit like that. You know, so Heyman's got to figure out who gets priority, and of course the champion's got to get priority. The most marketable fighter's got to get priority, and because Adrian Broner, you don't want him to be inactive because he's going to get into dumb shit. You know, you got to make sure he's always having a fight. Adrian Broner's got to be fighting 3 times a year, you know. So, like I said, only time will tell. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. An official announcement is supposed to be made next week. Right now it's May the 24th. You know, people keep harassing me, not understanding what's going on. But yo, we're getting back to videos full time. It's coming. You know, they're going to be better than ever. You know, you think, like, remember, people think that my priorities are fucked up. You know, that I'm doing other shit outside of doing videos. No, the goal is to do all that other shit, get all that other shit out the way, so I can do videos, you know? That's getting your priorities right, you know, so it is what it is. I don't have to keep explaining it, even though I do got to do a video on it. But please subscribe. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Word is that Adrian Broner and Mikey Garcia fight may land in New York, and of course, if it lands, I'm going to be there, right? TstreeT gets the fights now, you know, so of course I'm going to be there. Please subscribe.